Good evening and welcome to an all new episode of Mystery, Murder, and Mayhem. This is episode 112. I hope you all have had this really great summer, especially those of you that have been wanting summer back since winter. And I hope y'all are freaking happy because it's hot as blazes out there. This week and the past week was horrible. And, it's only Wednesday and we still got a whole week or rest of the week to go. Our feels like temperatures have hit 100 or higher every day, and it's supposed to continue with these temperatures over the next week or so, and I'm just not a fan. But anyway, so tonight, instead of giving you an entire brand new episode, I'm going to give y'all some updates on some stories that I've brought to you over the past year or so, and an update to a story I hadn't even heard about until it was updated through the mainstream media. So let's get started. All right, tonight we're starting off with the Carlee Russell case again. I'm sure you know who I'm talking about, and I could probably just say her first name and you'd still know who I'm talking about. So, on Monday of last week, I believe it was, the police chief from the Hoover, Alabama Police Department held another press conference. His name is Chief Durzis, and he started the press conference by saying that they had been contacted by an attorney named Emory Anthony, and he was representing Carlee. And originally, they, meaning Carlee and the attorney, they were supposed to come in and speak with investigators, but at some point before that was supposed to have happened, they received an email from the attorney saying that Carlee would rather release a statement through the attorney to the police. That statement read, quote, "There was no kidnapping on Thursday, July the 13th, 2023. My client did not see a baby on the side of the road. My client did not leave the Hoover area when she was identified as a missing person. My client did not have any help in this incident. This was a single act done by herself. My client was not with anyone or any hotel or at any hotel with anyone from the time she was missing. My client apologizes for her actions to this community, the volunteers who were searching for her, to the Hoover Police Department and other agencies as well, and to her friends and family. And we ask for your prayers for Carlee as she addresses her issues and attempts to move forward, understanding that she made a mistake in this matter." End quote. Well, after reading the statement, Durzis went on to say that they were still working on figuring out just where Carlee had been during those 49 hours that she was missing. And Durzis also said that they are working with prosecutors to see if any charges will be brought against Carlee. And I'm just going to say here that I'm pretty sure that most of us saw that this was going to be revealed at some point. I mean, I think we all knew after the first 24 hours or like right after she came back home that nothing had really happened. It just didn't add up. It just sounded fishy, right? Well, you know, like I said, we just all knew that something wasn't quite right with that story she told. And I try not to be judgmental. I try to like give people the benefit of the doubt. But the more that came out, it was just like it was sounding fishier and fishier. Now, remember how last week I had talked about how Carlee's boyfriend had released a statement on Instagram? Well, apparently he's now her ex-boyfriend, and he's released another statement. And um, for days after she had returned home from wherever she had been, he had defended her. But now that the truth has came out, Simmons says that Carlee created hurt, confusion, and dishonesty. On Instagram, on not this past Monday, but the Monday before, this was like after the um, second police conference since she's came back home. He said, quote, "I was made aware of the false narrative after coming to the defense of my ex, Carlee Russell. Myself and my family's nature was to react in love and genuine concern. We are disgusted by the outcome of this entire situation. I strongly feel exactly like all of you, blindsided with Carlee's actions. End quote. And he also mentioned that he and his family have gotten closure from this event, and he thanked everyone who tried to help. Now, y'all, I just want y'all to say, like I said, or to hear this, because, like I said earlier, I'm trying not to be judgmental in this. And I'm not saying that Carlee doesn't have any type of mental issues going on here, but, I'm not a medical or a psychological expert. Maybe she does have something going on. But what I'm getting at here is that at some point, we've got to stop excusing every single person's behavior who claims to have a mental issue. Now, I feel like now, some folks, and again, I'm not saying that she is included in this, but some are using it as an excuse for their actions. And if she does have something to go on, going on there, I really hope that she gets help for it. Now, another point I'd like to bring out is how when we thought in the beginning that she had truly been abducted, it put a spotlight on the often neglected fact that there are a lot of African American women and girls out there who have gone missing. And it just doesn't seem that the powers that be, or the authorities, or whatever you want to call them, give a rat's ass about it. And I really hope that now that she's made the admission that she wasn't being truthful, that spotlight isn't removed from all of those missing persons cases involving women and girls who are African American. If people were saying, this had went so big that it was finally bringing a spotlight to all of those cases, and hopefully, just because there was one bad apple in the bunch, I guess you could say, I'm hoping they don't pull that away from it. Well, then after I thought I had all the updates ready to go for this case and for this episode, then they came out with charges against Carlee Russell. Carlee was charged with 2 misdemeanors after Hoover police investigated the kidnapping, which ended up being a hoax. Carlee was charged on Friday, July the 28th, with 1 count of false reporting to law enforcement authorities and 1 count of falsely reporting an incident. Now, I can't find any information on any future court dates, but I do know that she was arrested on those charges on that same day, and her mugshot was released to the public that past Friday. Now, if you haven't seen it, you can find it on my TikTok account for the podcast, and just let me say that she's smiling like it's a photo shoot, and I just don't get that. I mean, who really smiles like that in a mugshot? It just doesn't make a whole lot of sense. Any of this, it doesn't make any sense to me. And now we're going to switch gears to a story that did involve a missing person who was truly missing. And then nearly 4 years later, she was found, or maybe I should just say that she found herself, when she walked into a Montana police department. Alicia Navarro had been missing since 2019, and it was just days before her 15th birthday that she went missing. And when she disappeared, she left a note for her mom that read, quote, "I ran away. I will be back. I swear. I'm sorry." End quote. Now, the search for Alicia at one point included the FBI. Oh, and did I mention that it was the state of Arizona that she went missing from? Yeah, Montana is like 1,000 miles away from Arizona, and the town in Montana hasn't been revealed yet, but I did see that it was near the Canadian border. And a lot of the details also have not been released in that. But she's safe and she's happy, is what the police are saying. Now she's 18 years old, and she has been reunited with her mom. In a Facebook video, Alicia's mom, Jessica Nunez, said that, quote, "I want to give God the glory for answering prayers and this miracle," end quote. And then she went on to say later in that video, "For everyone who has missing loved ones, I want you to use this case as an example. Miracles do exist. Never lose hope and always fight," end quote. Now, y'all, there's a lot of missing pieces to this puzzle, and I'm sure that it's probably going to take a few weeks or maybe even longer for authorities to put them together. But I do just want to say that I'm very happy for Alicia and her family that this case had a positive outcome. We have so many missing person cases that just don't have these positive outcomes. Sometimes they don't even have an outcome. You don't know if they're missing or if they've been unalived, I guess you could say. But this one had a good outcome. We don't know what happened in the times between, when she left and when she came back, but maybe that will be revealed. But then again, it's really none of our business. So if it's not revealed, that's fine too. I'm just glad that she's fine. And finally, tonight, I want to talk about Harmony Montgomery. I've been wanting to update you guys on this case for a couple of weeks now, but it's pretty gruesome. And I'm sure you know that this is now a homicide case. But recently, Harmony's stepmom, Kayla, spoke out in an affidavit, and she's mostly pointing the finger at her husband, Adam. Now, in that affidavit, it was recently that was recently released. It was revealed that Adam punched Harmony in the face and head multiple times on December the 7th, 2019, while they were in a car. And according to Kayla's statement, Adam told her, quote, "I think I really hurt her this time. I think I did something," end quote. And among other things, Kayla went on to say that they had been living in that vehicle since being evicted from their home. And on that particular day, the family was on their way to a fast food restaurant when he turned around and punched Harmony. Well, apparently, Adam had been upset with Harmony because she wouldn't tell him that she needed to use the bathroom, and she kept having accidents in the car. And according to Kayla, after each accident, Adam would get angry and he would reportedly punch Harmony in the face or her head. And see, I told you it was pretty gruesome. Now, who the hell does that to a kid? And y'all, it just keeps getting worse. Kayla told police that Harmony moaned for about 5 minutes and then she stopped. Now, Kayla may sound like she's doing the right thing by telling the police this, but she should have done the right thing a long time ago by stopping him from punching the little kid. That is an innocent child. She possibly would still be here if she had stepped in. I just can't imagine being a mom letting that happen to anybody's kid. Now, the rest of the family, they went ahead and they ate at the fast food restaurant, and then they left for the apartment complex parking lot where they had been staying. Well, then about 20 minutes later, they left again, and while they were gone, the car broke down. And that's when Adam discovered that Harmony was deceased. According to Kayla, Adam placed Harmony's body in a duffel bag, and that duffel bag always stayed pretty close by Adam, like at least in a car trunk, and at one time he even placed the bag out in the snow to slow down the decomposition. Well, after that, Adam began moving the duffel bag from one place to the next, including the ceiling vent, and it stayed there until neighbors started complaining about the smell. And I mean, how could they, as in Kayla and Adam, stand the smell themselves? Now, at some point, Harmony's body was moved to another bag. I think they called it a maternity bag, and I'm not quite sure what that is, but he placed it in a freezer at a restaurant that he was working at, and that's Adam that I'm talking about. You see how it keeps getting more and more dark? This is like bothering me to even talk about. I have a grandson that's about the same age as Kayla was at this time. Now, when the family moved into a different apartment, Kevin worked to reduce the size of Kayla's body, and I'm not even going to go into details about that, but you can find them online. After he couldn't reduce the size of her body, he and Kayla both worked to squeeze her remains back into that bag and put her in a freezer. And I'm not sure if that freezer was in their apartment or somewhere else because it's not very clear. Now, in the spring of 2020, Kayla says that Adam rented a U-Haul to move Harmony's remains. Now, Kayla doesn't know where he took them in the U-Haul because she says that he purposely didn't tell her just in case there was an investigation. Well, y'all, it was too late by then to not be an accessory. I mean, she was already an accessory because she knew what he did to Harmony. Well, so far, Harmony's body still hasn't been relocated or located. Um, and there's been like extensive searches for this baby's body. Now, even though her body hasn't been located, Adam was charged back in October of 2022 with second degree murder in her death. I mean, if he would just talk, if he would just tell them, but of course he probably thinks that he's innocent. Um, but anyway, that's where we are right now in that investigation. I'm sure a lot more is going on behind the scenes that we don't know about because that's often the case with these types of investigations. They don't tell us everything, probably for good reason, just so it doesn't get out into the wrong ears. And when I said the details are disturbing, y'all can see I wasn't lying or being dramatic. This is like the most disturbing case that I recently remember. Um, is right up there with like the Michael and Alex Smith case here in Union. But anyway, okay, y'all. I think that's it for tonight. That's enough, definitely. But be sure to check out the links in the episode description, and y'all have a good night.